Hello everyone, welcome to our video ministry update for the month of August, where we share with you all that's going on in our lives and our ministry here in the country of Bolivia. You know, nowadays we see so much turmoil in our world that there's no wonder that so many people are facing such problems with depression and anxiety and many situations like that in their lives. I feel like the majority of those problems are probably more a spiritual problem than anything else, and especially a lack of living in the peace that only the Lord can offer. You know, with the storms raging around us every day that all of us face, what we need more than anything else is the peace and the calm that can only be found in the storm through the Lord. This past month, we had our annual youth conference here in Bolivia, and that was the focus that we had, teaching the young people how that they can learn to have peace and learn to have calm and tranquility in the middle of the storms that they face in their lives. We had visiting for the conference this year Brother Jeff Bush, our missions president, who was with us, and then also Brother John Pearson, a man that's from our home church. And that was the focus. The focus of the preaching was on Psalms 21 and how that through the shepherd that leads us and guides us, he can give us peace in every situation in our lives. We were able to decorate the church, especially for this conference. We were able to put what looked like clouds in the roof and the ceiling, and then also lights that made it look like lightning, and then a banner that had a picture of a man standing in the middle of the storm. And you know, that's exactly what these young people need to learn to do, is be able to stand in the middle of the storm. This year we had a little bit different for the conference. We had each one of the churches that are part of our team, each one took a night, and on that night they were responsible for everything from the music to the games, to the snack, to the cleaning, and everything else. And so we praise the Lord for this conference. We saw many young people make decisions for the Lord, and many of them learn how that they can have the peace that only the shepherd can offer in their lives. Also, we also would like to praise the Lord for the progress that's been made in two of our churches with their construction, with the building, and their plan to move to the new location of the land that they have. In Pacata, they've been building now for a couple of months, and we praise the Lord that their goal is by the end of this month, August, by the 1st of September, they're hoping to have their first official service there on the new land. And then from that point on, have all their services. So we'll be moving out of the place that we've been at for almost 7 years, where we started the church at. And Lord willing, they'll be able to have all their services there on the new land as they build and continue to move forward with all their great needs there. So pray for them, please, that the Lord will provide as they begin to build the auditorium, and they'll need bathrooms and different things like that also. Also in Quiacoyo, we've mentioned Quiacoyo many times through the past year or so. Thanks to a missionary friend of ours, Jacob McKinney, they now have the walls up around the land, and they've been building the main structure for the auditorium. The only thing they lack now is the roof. And so their goal is to be able to move there within the next couple of months also and start having services permanently there. They might end up having to put just a tarp over for a roof, and maybe on the sides for a little bit of a wall to help protect from the wind, but they need to get the roof, they need to get the walls up of the auditorium, and most of all, they probably need to get some bathrooms. And so pray for them also as they're moving forward to try to get moved there as soon as possible so they can begin having services permanently there where their new land is at. And then also pray for the paperwork. We're still working on the paperwork on both of those, and still struggling to get the paperwork done, which would be doing the transfer into the mission that we're with, and then also the blueprints approved so that we can continue to build. And especially there in Quiacoyo, it seems like the government of Quiacoyo, which is actually outside of the city of Cochabamba, is a little bit anti-church. They don't seem to be very helpful, especially when it comes to churches. And so they're putting every difficulty they can, everything they can do to try to hinder us finishing that paperwork. So we have a lawyer that's working on that we mentioned in our previous letters, and then that we're praying that he can continue to move forward. So pray that God will open up doors, pray that God will touch hearts of those authorities so that we can get all that paperwork done and they can just continue to get their building and the things they need so they can start having services on the land. I tell you, if you ever want to learn patience, just try to do paperwork in a foreign country. You'll definitely learn it very quickly there. So please pray for both of these churches, especially during this time of transition and their needs to be able to build on their land so that they can have a permanent place where they'll be able to have services from here moving forward. And then also, we wanted to mention that for the past 3 months, we've had an intern here with us. Her name is Anna Austin, and she's just in the last stages of her preparation in the Our Generation Training Center at our mission in our home church. And she just finishing up her first 3 months. She'll be traveling back to the States to finish up her last semester, and then she'll be coming back in January to finish up her last 3 months. Normally, there's 6 months together, but her situation, she had to do 3 months, then her last semester, and then finish the last 3 months starting in January. And so just pray for her as she continues to get to the last stages to finish up everything she needs before graduation next year. And we praise the Lord for the opportunity that we get to be able to invest in these young people's lives and teach them not only was she learning some language, probably not so much learning a language in 6 months, but learning what it's like to learn a language. And it's always a very stressful situation and very difficult to try to learn a different language and basically start as if you were a baby again. And then also learning to adapt to a culture, which is always interesting to watch in these young people. And then also how to do the ministry on the mission field, which obviously there's different contexts and things like that. And so we do praise the Lord for the opportunity. We praise the Lord for Anna. Pray for her as she's traveling back to the States now to finish up her last semester. And then she'll be back probably the first of the year to finish up her internship. We'd just like to mention that if you're interested in maybe preparing to serve the Lord in missions, we'd like for you to check out the Our Generation Training Center. It's a place where not only do you learn the theory about missions and how to serve the Lord on the mission field, but also the practical side of it, where missionaries teach and invest in the lives of the young people there so that they can be as prepared as possible to go to the mission field one day and do a work for the Lord. So a couple of prayer requests to mention for this month. Obviously pray for the churches in Pacata and Quiacoyo. That's how you pronounce those. Especially the paperwork that we're trying to move forward with there. Please pray fervently that we can get those done as soon as possible. Also pray for the young people here that face more challenges than I think ever before. Just so many things that they face in their life. Also pray for our government and our economy. I mentioned that in our past prayer requests, and things have just kind of continue to get a little bit more difficult. We have elections coming up next year, and so that could be a very big moment for our country. The economy is having lots of difficulty right now. So just pray for our government, pray for our economy here, and then also pray for our upcoming pastors training that we'll be having next month in September, that the Lord will bless at that time. So thank you so much for all that you do for us and our ministry here in Bolivia. Without you, we couldn't do what we do. So thank you, and Lord bless.